After a long absence, I've returned to the YouTube MMA video scene. Not that anyone probably cared. Don't know how to feel about that. Anyways, this will just be kind of like a hodgepodge of events that have been happening, newsworthy stories. I'm gonna pull up the MMA news and give my thoughts on whatever the fuck's up there. Normally I'd be over there at my desktop. That's why the camera is in a weird location. It is on top of a pop can, on top of a couch. And the laptop's over here. Why? Because Windows 7 won't recognize my webcam, which is there. And as a result, I have to use the laptop, and I didn't really feel like clearing off my desk. So here we go. Obviously, big news. UFC. It was the UFC GSP versus Koscheck. It was a good fight. I enjoyed every second of it because I really don't like Koscheck. That's about it. That being said, I was a little disappointed in Koscheck. He took GSP down in the first round and actually managed to hold him down. I thought that would have been a much better plan to continue, because basically he had no depth perception, no ability to gauge range. Striking was utterly ineffective against GSP. He was just getting boxed up on the feet. I would have thought that, you try to steal some rounds with some takedowns. You try to work there, and I also think that would probably the eye would be of a less impact there, which is huge, because obviously that eye was the focal point of the attack. There's of course this talk of pound for pound rankings and also the eliteness of MMA strikers, which I'm going to throw my thoughts on. I will say that GSP, I do believe, is the #1 pound for pound fighter, because people would say that Anderson Silva is maybe the guy, but the difference here is that Anderson Silva loses rounds and has moments of being dominated by opponents in his own division. Chael Sonnen fight, the Travis Lutter fight, the Dan Henderson fight. GSP doesn't have that. GSP has basically in his career lost 2 rounds, one to Josh Koscheck in their first fight, one to BJ Penn in the first fight. And you'll say, well, he lost to Matt Hughes and Matt Sarah. Yeah, but he didn't lose the round, if you know what I mean. Like, he wasn't dominated. Although Sarah's was somewhat of a domination, but it was more a clip and then follow it up. Silva also has more losses, and a couple of them are not just such great people. Like, every time a fight comes around where Anderson Silva is fighting someone, I see a very good way that person could win the fight. You take the Chael Sonnen fight. When I was breaking that down, I was thinking, you know what, Sonnen can take Silva down. He can probably hold him down. He doesn't get too aggressive. And he doesn't, highlight that lack of submission defense he has. He could win the fight. You'll get a Koscheck GSP fight, or the Fitch GSP fight, or something, and there's a way. I mean, there's a way for someone to win anytime, but when you think about it, you're like, GSP's a better wrestler than this guy. He's a better striker than this guy. I don't particularly see how he loses. And with that, you see that with Silva. You don't so much see that with St. Pierre. Maybe that's more a highlight of the depth of the division than the actual pound for pound rankings, but that's the way I look at it. When people say, well, who would you take in a fight between Anderson and GSP? I'd have to think about it. The thing is, pound for pound ranking is is a ranking that doesn't take size into account, basically. It's kind of saying who's the best fighter if everyone was the same weight. And that's the thing, is that Silva's a bigger fighter. If he were to beat GSP, unless it was by some just utter destruction, utter domination, I don't really see how that makes a big difference in the pound for pound rankings. But that's just me. Eliteness of MMA strikers. People are commenting on how GSP's boxing is not even technically that great and it's sloppy, but it's it's being hailed as the big thing. Of course boxers are better than MMA fighters at boxing. Of course kickboxers are better. Of course, and it goes for, guys who just wrestle too. You only are concentrating on one discipline. MMA is, I'm not going to say the hardest sport to train, but I'm going to say the hardest of the combat sports to master all the elements of, because there are so many and they are very diverse. Obviously, a guy who has been boxing, think about how long it takes to become like a really, really good boxer. Like, it takes years. So you're telling me, you know, I got it as an MMA fighter, like hypothetically, if I was one, I would have to become an elite level boxer, elite level wrestler, elite level BJJ, elite level Muay Thai before my 30th birthday, because honestly, you want to get your prime going kind of late 20s, if possible. So you have that much time to get going, when it takes to the mid-20s usually or something for a boxer to hit his prime, or a kickboxer to hit his prime, or even a grappler to really like master, really become that guy. Like Charles Oliveira is a prodigy of a BJJ fighter in his early 20s who just got beat by Jim Miller via submission. And again, like, there's the point, like, his other areas of his game are somewhat deficient, particularly his boxing, because you need the time. Like, there's only so many hours in a day that you can train. You can't have elite level boxing, elite level Muay Thai, elite level wrestling, elite level BJJ in the same package. You just can't have it. And elite level strikers have, you know, come and gone because they generally leave because they lose, because they get taken down, they get submitted. Whereas a couple of elite level grapplers, if someone made the transition, a Jacare, to a lesser extent a Demian Maia, elite level wrestlers, of course, a number of American collegiate wrestlers, also some Japanese wrestlers and so on, have made the jump. But they're deficient in areas of their game. Like, take Demian Maia. He has world-class jiu-jitsu, but his boxing is terrible. His kickboxing is not that good. His wrestling is passable because that's part of the grappling game. But you can't expect him to have elite-level boxing and elite-level BJJ. You don't have the time. That's basically what I'm trying to roll in here. And I think anyone who's waiting for like this great level of striking in MMA is going to be waiting forever, because I don't think it will ever happen. I think it can get better, but it's never going to be like, you're never going to see striking that you would see in like a high-level boxing match or a high-level K1 match in an MMA match. It's just not going to happen. So that's my thoughts on that matter. WC had its last show. Anthony Pettis versus Ben Henderson. Good fight. Really good fight. I enjoyed Dominic Cruz, Scott Jorgensen. The rest of the card was actually very solid. It was a good way to go out. It was going out with a bang, in a nutshell. It was very impressive. As for the lightweights and WC making it in the UFC, Pettis and Henderson, I think, are really the two that have a serious chance. I mean, you get down to like the second tier, I'm going to kind of call it, of guys like Cerrone, Varner, Roller, all of whom are guys that could do something, but I don't particularly have the faith in it. We saw Varner come into the UFC. He did okay. They lost to guys who were no longer there. I mean, that's basically how you sum that up. So let's see. Okay, so now that I'm kind of recap those cards. In the news, what we got? We have Royce Gracie going to fight at UFC in Brazil, potentially. Please shoot me if that happens. I don't really want to see it. Fedor Emelianenko versus Bigfoot Silva. With Verdum having surgery and Alistair Overeem being generally a guy who doesn't fight a lot, it's probably the best matchup Strikeforce has got. If Fedor loses it, it will seriously damage his reputation. Let's see. Oh yeah, it looks like Thiago Alves finally got the weight under control. He claims he's not starving himself anymore, which is really good. Maybe he'll stop giving up parts of his paycheck for missing weight. What else we got? There's the testosterone therapy treatment, which has been heavily criticized. I don't really know enough about it to really say, but I stand by that if a doctor will prescribe it, you pretty much have to allow it, even if you know, that may not be, you know, even if it is easy enough to buy a doctor off, but it is what it is. So what I'm gonna do, since I'm kind of the next couple of weeks, you know, no school, no work, bored, I'm gonna say message me on here or comment on my videos with a question you want answered, and I will try to provide some insight to it. in my usual way of, if I know, I will just do a video. If I don't know, I'll do a little research on the topic and try and enlighten. Hopefully I get a couple of questions, and then I can do like one video where I'm doing a bunch of questions. But that's about it. Hope you enjoyed my return video, and I hope to be doing regular videos again. And that's all there is to it.